What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. Today, I wanted to kind of take a look at just the overall power of crowd control, or CC, in DD2. Now, I'm using some of the best crowd control defenses in the game, and I'm adding very little damage in on top of it. Now, I am in Chaos 7, just for complete clarity. I wanted to do this in all Chaos 7 gear. However, I don't have a Chaos 7 relic for my weapon manufacturers. So to try to balance out the damage a little bit, I'm going with 0 Ascension. So I put my weapon manufacturer on my Proton Beam EV2, and as you see, we've got 0 Ascension into the weapon manufacturer damage. I understand that that's not a true balance, however, I had to go with what I had, and I wanted to make the video tonight, and I did have some people asking for it. Now, as you see, I did throw a couple of Sky Guards up top to handle that air as it comes in. Now, the defenses that we're going to be using is the Frostbite Tower from The Apprentice. I've got Diverse Power Servo, Defense Range Servo, and Power Servo. And then we're going with Frosty Bind, so we can really slow them down. Frosty Power to juice up those Proton Beams, and Deadly Strikes. Then we're going to be using the Boost Aura, and of course we're going slow mode, so we've got Power Servo, Diverse, and Diverse Crit Damage Servo with Vicious Strikes, Deadly Strikes, and Boosted Grasp. Then we're going to be using the Snaking Sands. As you see, this one is completely thrown together. It's just a relic that I had with Defense Rage on it, so I'm going with it. And we're using Defense Rate and Deadly Strikes on those Snaking Sands. Then we got the Mighty Proton Beam. Once again, this is just something else I threw together. Controller Servo would be a huge upside over Melee Boom. However, in Chaos 7, Melee Boom's still going to add quite a bit to this build. And we're going with Defense Rate, Tenacity, and Melee Boom. Tenacity is going to be completely unused. This is Chaos 7, so there's no Cyborgs to worry about. However, that is what's on it. This is the relic I'm using, so kind of an unnecessary mod, but it's on there. Now I'm going with Frosty Beams because we are going to freeze them up. Destruction and Defense Rate. Of course, I don't have a Gilded Defense Rate on it, so I had to go with a Defense Rate mod to get down to that speed cap. And then, of course, the Weapon Manufacturer, Tenacity, Shocking Revelation, and Controller Servo. The main part of this is that Shocking Revelation. Oh man, it is just a beast. Now for Ascension, I went with the standard builder Ascension across the board, going in Defense Crit Chance and Defense Speed first off. And then of course, as I mentioned, on the Proton Beam / Weapon Man EV2, I've got 0 Ascension into the Weapon Manufacturers. Now first things first, I want to put some Weapon Manufacturers down, and I don't want them right at the spawn. I'm going to go with 2 nodes here, and I want to take very careful consideration as to where the damage is ending on these nodes. And the reason being is I want to make sure that my Boost Aura is going to be past that mark on damage. So I want the Boost Aura to hit them first, and the Weapon Manufacturer to be kind of a last resort. Now I am going to base everything else here off of this Boost Aura range, which means we're going to head on over to our Frostbite. I'm going to make sure that it's covering the entire range of the Boost Aura. I'm actually going to put it just inside of it. Then we're going to go with the Sand Traps. Now the Sand Trap I'm going to put directly up front. The Sand Trap has a great range, however, you see its target radius is really small. That kind of hinders it a bit, but the Sand Trap can definitely put a huge amount of crowd control to your lane if you get it up front. And then we're going to go with the Proton Beam. Now, the Proton Beam's, of course, inherently slow. So, as you see, it slows to 35%. So just naturally, Proton Beams are going to slow. However, I've got that Freeze Shard in the mix as well. That's going to give me that stun. So as you see here, we've spent 220 DU. I've got 100 into Skyguard Towers up there. So 220 is above what you could spend on a normal lane. However, it's right at the mark for a map like this, where you have some extra defense units available to put down on each lane. Now, a lot of people are going to ask why not to oil, and the reason not to oil is because the problem with oil is you lose all the benefits of oil the second you add fire to the mix. Kind of a no-brainer for a build like this would be to throw a flame aura right in the middle of it, and that of course would ruin your oil. So anybody that wants to add some additional power and really power through this, just drop a flame aura right in the middle of it all and you are gonna just see devastating results. That is why I left oil out of the mix. Now if you don't want to put any fire, by all means throw some oil up in there and oh geez, it's just ridiculous. Now let's head on over and do the same thing on these other lanes here. I want the weapon manufacturers in the back. I do not want them all the way up at the spawn, as I don't want them hitting the weapon manufacturers first. Then we're going to go with the boost. The boost I can put pretty close to the spawn on this one. Let's get that Frosty in the mix. Directly inside of the boost aura. We're going to put the sand right up front. And then we're going to get our proton beam right in the front as well. Maybe? I have it a little too close to the spawn, maybe? Yeah, actually, that'll work right there. And then that leaves me, what, 360 DU left. I can basically do more of the same right here. So let's go ahead and do it up. Let's go with a weapon manufacturer. This one we're actually going to use two sides to it. So we're going to split these lanes with the weapon manufacturer. I'm going to throw the Frostbite in the back. Now, these mobs aren't going to be getting slow right away. They're going to have to make the turn. The Frostbite will hit some over here, and it will hit some over here. However, in a whole, it's not going to get ridiculously good coverage on this particular lane. Now here, we're going to go with two boost Rs to slow them. Let's go ahead and put it right up front there. And we'll get another one right up front here as well. Our sand traps, both right at the front of the range. Put this sand trap right on the stairs there. And then we're going to move over to our proton beam to add in that just ridiculous upfront slow and stopping power. Now, we've got 40 DU left. As I mentioned, one of the things to really beef it up would be to throw a flame aura in the middle. I'm going to go ahead and do just that on this lane right here. That way I can basically ignore it and just watch the other side of the map and see what's going on. So let's go ahead and head down here and check it out. I'll throw my remaining mana into the Sky Guards just to make sure no flyers sneak by on me. And let's watch this slowing goodness in action. Here we go. Now we got flyers coming out. Luckily, they're going to get wrecked by those Skyguard towers, and anything that makes it through is going to hit those weapon mans and just come to a stop, as in Chaos 7, of course, the kobolds are indeed going to get stunned by the weapon manufacturers as they are low flyers. As you see, nothing even made it to the halfway point. They did trigger the sand trap, but they didn't even make it to the halfway point of this proton beam. Let's get some more mobs coming out here and see what we can do. Actually, we might get a little better view of it up top on this one. Just an invisible wall sitting right there, and hence the name, the Invisible Wall build. Now, we did have a Lady Orc, as you saw, pushed in until she made it to the weapon mans, and then, of course, it is good game. So the only thing that's going to push up is the Lady Orcs, and the weapon manufacturer stun is going to take care of those. Everything else is going to hit that roadblock right up front, and nothing is going to make it through. Lady Orcs only getting through. Now, of course, Lady Orcs are immune to the slow, and that is, of course, why. See, we had some booms go off there, and that's why that grave infection had procced. And then nothing left but flyers on this lane. So let's go ahead and hop on through to... Well, actually, we're there already. No need to jump through it all. Let's just go ahead and fire it up. No upgrades or anything, as I just want to see the power of this slow. Now, we do have an ogre this time. It'll be interesting to see how this ogre reacts here. And I'm going to not put any damage on the ogre. Now, we see with the booms going off, it is indeed the proton beam that's killing them. In addition to that, we're getting a little bit of a bonus, as the explosions are indeed crushing damage, and the proton beam, of course, is freezing them solid. So a frozen enemy plus crush equals the shatter combo. Now, mentioning that, I've got to say, Trendy has been teasing elemental changes really hard with what's to come in DD2. We're going to find out more information about what's coming in the next update later on today, and I can't wait to get that dev blog out. Now, on Friday, of course, the dev stream is coming, and we'll get even more details and an update release day. So looking forward to that. And here we go. We got big ice cubes from this ogre. Let's see if it's going to proc again. We've got the sand trap stun. There's another freeze. The ogre actually hasn't taken a step. So he hasn't even made it into the weapon mans yet. The only damage that's being done to that ogre is strictly from proton beams. So that is good stuff. Between the proton beam and that sand trap, that ogre did not take another step once making it to the sand. That is just absolutely incredible. So we've got triple slows here. We've got a frostbite slowing him. We've got the boost aura slowing him. We've got the proton beam slowing him. And then we've got double stun between the proton beam freeze and that sand trap. Now, of course, we're on wave 3. Let's go ahead and throw some upgrades into this proton beam and really see the power of this build, as proton beams will just melt baddies, no doubt. You see the proton beams caught the lady orcs that time. There's the stun from the sand going off. Very, very nice. And nothing is going to make it even close to that weapon manufacturer, which is just incredible. Now, taking a look at it here, the damage on this proton beam, it's done 262 million. The weapon manufacturer has only done 53 million damage. So just to give you a comparison, I tried to balance it out, that way the weapon manufacturers weren't carrying through this, since it is a Chaos 8 relic that's on there. And as you see, it is the proton beam that is dishing out all the pain. Such an incredible build, and situationally can be used in Onslaught, as obviously if nothing can pass, then nothing can live. Now, in Onslaught, of course, there's going to be lots of mutators that might make it so enemies can't be slowed or can't be stunned, and then you don't want to put in every aspect of this particular build, as you'll want to throw in more damage and incorporate whatever the mutator or Onslaught lane weak points are. Let's take a look at Tuskar. Tuskar's at the sand. Oh, he's not making it any further, as that proton beam now is just really dishing out the pain. Now it's up to 407 million damage done. Definitely getting up in there. Let's see how it handles these skellies. Invisible wall right there. As soon as they hit that line with the boost aura, it's a none shall pass type situation, no doubt about it. Now this wave, we're going to have a Cannon Ogre coming out. Cannon Ogres, of course, are going to bring the pain, so I'm not going to want to stand out front there. I'm just going to kind of duck in and out and hide behind. Yet, I still wanted to see all of the amazing stopping power going on right up front in this lane right here. You've basically got every single base covered. You've got massive, massive slow. You've got 3 different sources of stun. What more could you ask for? These lanes are crowd controlled, no doubt. If you look up top there, it's actually quite a few mobs that are coming through. And nothing at all except Lady Orcs is making it to those stairs at all, as they just all stop right there. Now here comes the Cannon Ogre. Proton beam away as it dishes out the pain. There's a sand trap stun. And is it going to make it to the weapon man? Nope, he didn't make it to the weapon manufacturer at all. Just absolutely incredible the amount of stopping power when you stack all these different forms of crowd control. We got a Quibbly up here rolling up out top. Quibbly, look at the slow motion job on Quibs. Good gosh, we got the stun going. There's that sand in action. Love it. Absolutely love it. Lots of flyers rolling in. Now, the same can be said about the flyers to an extent. Now, of course, the proton beams aren't going to hit them. However, if there's a mob underneath, the sand will hit them. However, the flyers won't trigger the sand trap itself. And then let's take a look at what we got coming for Wave 5. We've got another Quibs down below, and we've got a Cannon Ogre up top. So let's check these guys out. Alright, the Cannon Ogre has rolled out right up top here. I'm going to hide a little. I'm going to just tank through this assassin here, that we can watch that Cannon Ogre hotness. As that Cannon Ogre has yet to take a step. He's trying to right now. Okay, there's one step into the proton beam. There's 2 steps. And the sand just went off again. And the Cannon Ogre is in trouble. Now let's take a look at Quibbly down below here. Super slow motion the second he hits. And that proton beam, it just burned right through him. And then to close the deal, we got Tuskar up top. And Tuskar is just going to get annihilated. No doubt about it. You see Tuskar died right here without making it to that weapon manufacturer or flame aura range either. So good stuff from stacking crowd control in Dungeon Defenders 2. Make sure you play around with it because it can be just an amazing addition to any of your builds. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. I will be back soon with more DD2, and later today, don't forget to check back, as there will be a video going over the devlog and whatever new info we learn about the update to come. So thank you once again, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.